Medicare.gov and search for Chronic Care Management. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Always here when you need us. Pittsburgh's news, weather, and traffic station, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Company.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Solutions Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA News Now.
It's 70 degrees at Pittsburgh International. At 9 o'clock, I'm David Ballarado. The body of a teenager pulled from the Monongahela River this morning. The Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office has confirmed the victim's identity, 17-year-old Benjamin Coleman. The teen's adoptive mother tells KDKA-TV he had just turned 17. Apparently, he was with his girlfriend's family when he needed help in the water around 8 last night. His mother said he didn't know how to swim. The body was pulled early this morning from the water near Harrison Street and the sewage plant. One woman was rushed to the hospital Friday following a shooting outside a local restaurant. News Radio KDKA's Rob Taylor has more.
Police say it all happened in the parking lot of the Texas Roadhouse restaurant at the Great Southern Shopping Center in Collier Township. Two women, police say, got into an altercation, and as one of the women were going into their purse for pepper spray, the other woman pulled out a gun and shot the woman in the leg. The woman who was shot was rushed to the hospital. Right now, no word on her condition. Police say they have the woman in custody who allegedly fired the gun. Right now, it's unclear what led to the initial altercation. Rob Taylor, News Radio, KDKA.
The adoptive parents of a 5-year-old Westmoreland County boy who died earlier this year are now facing homicide and other charges. Lauren and Jacob Malaberti are in jail awaiting arraignment. Their son Landon died at Children's Hospital in February. The district attorney's office says a forensic examination showed the boy suffered physical abuse. Authorities have been investigating allegations of severe abuse since the child's death. State police say a Perryopolis man tried to lure 2 kids into his vehicle this week near Whitsett Park in Bell Vernon and then also threatened to kill police. Police have charged Antonio Stedman with multiple crimes. They say the kids were playing in the park Thursday night around 7:30 when Stedman came up to them and tried to get them inside his 2021 Chevy Silverado. After he fled, the truck was found a street away. He tried to drive away again, but was apprehended on First Street and appeared to be drunk. State police say Stedman then threatened to kill several troopers while he was in custody and offered the arresting officer $50,000 to let him go. Despite former President Trump's mounting legal troubles, he maintains a dominant lead over his Republican rivals in the race for the White House. Last night, the GOP frontrunner and a dozen contenders shared the stage in Des Moines at the annual Lincoln Day dinner. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe says the former president got very little pushback over his legal issues.
Trump still leads by huge margins among Republicans. And that sustained popularity is why most opponents don't criticize his alleged misconduct. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's running second to Trump, won't do it.
I think voters have to make those decisions on that at the end of the day. The election's got to be about the future.
Well, this morning's rainy weather may not be welcome to a lot of people, but it does help one local community's annual event live up to its name. July 29th, of course, is Rain Day in Waynesburg. Today is the 118th time over the last 150 years that it has rained on the 29th. Farmer Caleb Eli had noted back in the late 1800s that it always seemed to rain on his birthday. That eventually led to the creation of the Community Festival, which gets underway later this morning at Fountain and Monument Parks. In sports, the Bucks and Phillies continue their series at PNC Park tonight after Philadelphia's 2-1 win last night. You can catch the game on 93.7 The Fan. KDKA Radio News Time 9:03. Time to go to the elder law attorneys of Zachariah Brown. Visit PittsburghElderLaw.com. The AccuWeather forecast is next.
The 8 local Coons Market locations are summer headquarters for warm weather food items and savings.
Coons has truckloads of fresh produce from local farms and fields.
And all kinds of meat, poultry, pork, and seafood cuts for outdoor grilling.
Coons also has a convenient variety of your favorite summer picnic and barbecue sides, freshly prepared each day.
Here's some of the summer savings this week at Coons.
From the Coons Fresh Produce Department, world famous sweet Northwest cherries, 99 cents per pound, In Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, peaches, just $1.99 per pound. In the Coons Bakery, cream cheese-filled strawberry cake rolls, only $8 each. And this week, you'll find selected varieties of Gatorade Thirst Quenchers, 8-pack, 20-ounce bottles, $5.99 each.
Shop Coons today.
Coons provides you with the warm weather savings every day that you can see with your Coons Reward Card.
Shop at one of Coons' 8 locations or shop online at coonsmarket.com for convenient home delivery or curbside pickup.
Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly sunny and pleasant today, high 79. Patchy clouds tonight, low 59. Mostly sunny and nice tomorrow, high 83. Maybe a thunderstorm Monday, high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Kai Erickson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
And right now it's raining and 70 degrees. KDKA Radio News Time, 9:05. Our next update's at 9:30. I'm David Ballarado on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDKA.
The following is paid for by MediConnect. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
These are the people, the movers and shakers, the businesses, the people you know in your community who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we've got Lauren Yuran here, and Mark is back for another week, so here we go again. Welcome to MediConnect, bridging the healthcare gap. 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com. We have a lot to get to, so let's get going. Lauren, how are you?
Good morning, Rob. I'm doing well. How are you?
Say good morning.
Good morning, Rob.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful as always. So today we're going to actually continue that Medicare 101 segment of our programming. So we're going to actually break down the topic of Medicare Part D, or drug coverage that you can obtain. And we'll talk about formularies, drug tiering, and that dreaded donut hole, and much more. And we were having a little conversation upon walking in today that Rob was talking about the donut hole. Unknown to you that's what we were covering today. So I think it's going to be a good show.
Big topic.
Absolutely big topic. And we'll talk about our seminars as well. But, before we get to all that seriousness, right, let's start out with a little bit of fun. So, Mark,
a little fun, right? July 29th in history. Going all the way back to 1786, the Pittsburgh Gazette is published, which is the first newspaper west of the Alleghenies to be distributed. And we know it today as the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. How about that one? Right?
Very interesting.
Some people, I'm going to call some of the older folks in my family, see if they remember when that happened.
Or as we say in Western PA, Mark Clark, it is PG. I need my PG.
I need my PG. That's right. And standard. And happy 65th birthday to NASA today, right? National Aeronautics Space Administration. My son, he's my youngest son. He has aspirations to be there someday. NASA was established by Dwight Eisenhower in 1958, and the very first assignment was Mars 1, obviously a mission to Mars, or a mission to study the planet of Mars, right?
My uncle Mark actually was a NASA engineer as well, so pretty cool. And if NASA was a person, we could get them hooked up with some Medicare.
There we go. Yeah, we could. Princess Diana was married to Prince Charles on July 29th, 1981. Boy, that just seems like yesterday for me. But over 700 million people watched this ceremony worldwide.
Yeah, that was a little before my time, but I was watching the last two princesses.
There you go. So. Yep. And the history of July 29th, it's kind of a slow day, historically speaking, a quiet day. So let's talk about some events taking place around Pittsburgh. I'm really excited, Lauren, because this week I get to go there. But Steelers training camp started, and this is always one of my favorite times of year. I love football.
You shared actually yesterday to us that you saw who as a little boy?
As a little boy, my dad took me to Steelers training camp in Latrobe, and I saw Terry Bradshaw there. I'm old enough to I walked down over the hill. I was a little boy. There's Franco Harris. There's Terry Bradshaw. There's Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert. They were all there. And it's a vivid memory for me. Yes.
That's really cool. And you and the rest of the MediConnect crew
Yep.
will have a lot of fun on Tuesday out there.
Yep.
So if you're out at the camp, look for Mark, Ramsey, Logan, and Corey.
Yeah.
They'll be in attendance.
Absolutely. Lauren, I think you wanted to talk about this next
Oh,
one.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So Foreigner is conducting their farewell tour tonight in Star Lake. So Mark, I know you're going to this. I wanted to
Absolutely.
go. I've seen them many times, but well-known songs like Urgent, Jukebox Hero, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Hot Blooded. So what is everybody, Rob and Mark, what are your favorite Foreigner songs?
It was Waiting for a Girl Like You because I was waiting for one then, and I'm waiting for one now. And the wait just continues.
I think they have an app for that.
Yeah, right. That's amazing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about when, the Eagles are coming. Sadly,
Mm-hmm.
Randy Meisner recently passed away, one of the founding members, but they're coming as well. Kiss, they're all on these, and I really believe this is the finish line. So
The
if you
final.
got tickets for this one tonight, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hot Blood is probably my favorite. I just remember throwing that little record on and playing that song and just being like a kid in my bedroom, just rocking out.
So I have two songs that I used to karaoke back in my day, and I'm not I'm not really vocally talented. It's more of a charisma thing, the show that you put on. And my go-to karaoke song was Cold as Ice. So I love that song.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
one of my favorite Foreigners.
Jukebox Hero is pretty good.
It
too.
is. It is. I remember that one on Guitar Hero,
Yeah, so they've been cranking out hits since 1976. Lauren,
Wow.
that's like 4 decades before you were born. I'm just kidding.
It was 87, so one decade.
Okay, I'm just teasing you a little bit. So, and today is National Chicken Wing Day. All right. I know our colleague Sean, he loves the Bingham Tavern in Mount Washington for chicken wings, but we've got...
Soon to be coming to Beaver County.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Bridgewater.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob's we got, Quaker Steak and Lube at the stadium. A lot of local pizza places have wings.
Don't forget Wingstop. Now we're going
Wingstop.
to be on Ohio River Boulevard,
Right.
opening up a new location there.
Lots of Buffalo Wild Wings out there, all that stuff. But we love our wings.
We do. I lived in Mount Washington for a few years, so Bigham is
Nice
my
place.
favorite as well. Oh,
Everybody's
I love it.
excited about that.
I love that place. Yeah, I mean, I was walking distance too, so you could walk up Tuesday nights for discounted wings, have a couple wings, have a beer, walk
Where are
home.
they at up in Mount Washington?
So I lived on Bertha and was like 2 blocks up,
Okay.
kind of towards the center, in between the inclines.
Nice.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think of the road name, but
I'm
I
gonna
think
have
it's
to try
Bigham
it.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I got to give that a try. How about birthdays? If July 29th is your birthday, happy birthday to you. And you probably know that you have the same birthday as Martina McBride, Geddy Lee from Rush, Peter Jennings, Elizabeth Dole, and the late, great Betty White. And I guess I have to mention also Mussolini.
Ooh, all right.
Maybe we don't want to remember that one. So how about the trivia question for today? So back in 1967, this song by The Doors was the #1 track in America and was knocked off the top spot by the Beatles' All You Need Is Love. So the trivia question today, what song from Jim Morrison and The Doors was the top song on July 29th, 1967?
He was actually one of NASA's first astronauts, but he didn't use a spaceship. So just let everybody know that. All right, here you go. If you're the 10th caller or the first caller, whatever, just as long as you are the caller with the correct answer, you call now. Zach Moore, my producer, will get your information, and you're going to get a gift card that is a gas card from the good folks at MediConnect. So here's the trivia question again. Back in 1967, this song by The Doors was the #1 track in America and was knocked off the top spot by the Beatles' All You Need Is Love. What song from Jim Morrison and The Doors was the top song on July 29, 1967? All right, if you think you know it, it is 412-922-1020. We'll come back, and we've got much more to come. So what are we going to do when we get back after the
So
break?
when we get back, we'll talk about our seminars a little bit, and then we're going to dive into prescription drug coverage and the donut hole.
All right, that and a whole lot more. Remember, MediConnectInsurance.com. We got some seminars to tell you about. And also, we have those representatives standing by until noon. And as I was telling someone yesterday, if you want to revisit your current Medicare coverage because you don't think you're getting a big bang for your buck, set up an appointment. There is never a charge for their services. If you're soon to be 65, or you are 65 in this calendar year, and it's almost enrollment season in the fall, and you want to be one of the first to get an appointment and get going, call that number today. You can do it. You'll get a live operator on the other end. That is one of our many representatives. These are the people that help put the plan together for you. That number is 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com. The Inside Connection. Mark Clark, Yuran, Rob Pratt. Back with more in a moment.
Tell your smart speaker to play News Radio, KDKA.
The Shaw Festival presents Blithe Spirit, the smash hit comedy by Noel Coward. Charles, a novelist, invites the great Madame Arcati to conduct a seance to gather material for his next book. It works too well. His first wife returns from the other side with disastrous results for his second marriage. Don't miss Blithe Spirit at the Shaw. For best seats at best prices, go to shawfest.com.
Summertime in Pittsburgh, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Edwina did. She called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on
Pittsburgh, you too can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, my name is PJ Vogt. I host the podcast Search Engine, where every week I hunt down the answers to the questions I can't get out of my head. Like, why are drug dealers poisoning their customers with fentanyl? Or, is my local sushi restaurant a part of an international scam? Or, how sad are the monkeys at the zoo? If you, like me, find this world bewildering, but also sometimes enjoy being bewildered by it, check out the show on the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, back on the Inside Connection. Maximize your coverage options and make sure you avoid any possibility of penalties. Like everything they do all the time, there is no fee to attend these incredible seminars, but you need to reserve your seat. August 2nd, 6 p.m., Vandergrift Public Library, Washington Avenue in Vandergrift. August 6th at 6 p.m., all of these start at 6, Holiday Inn Express, Finley Road, Bell Vernon. August 10th, 6 p.m., Ross Community Center, Municipal Drive, Pittsburgh. And August 15th at 6 p.m., Baldwin Health Center, Skyline Drive, Pittsburgh. And they're coming to Cannonsburgh soon. MediConnectInsurance.com, Seminars tab to register, or live advisors right now through noon or out throughout the week at 888-818-6334. 888-818-6334. But as we like to say, we have a winner in our trivia question, and this person is going to get a gift card in the way of a gas card from MediConnect. First the question, and then the answer, and then our winner. Lauren.
All right. So the question, back in 1967, this song by The Doors was the #1 track in America and was knocked off the top spot by the Beatles, All You Need Is Love. What song from Jim Morrison and The Doors was the top song on July 29th, 1967? The answer is Light My Fire, and our correct winner was Mary Ann from Pittsburgh. So thank you for calling in, and we'll get that gas card out to you on Monday.
Congratulations. Now we are going to get back to this week's topic, but remember, those advisors are standing by right now. Call, set up an appointment, never a charge for their services. 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334.
All right, Rob. So again, today we're going to talk about prescription drug coverage in Part D of Medicare. But before I get there, I did want to mention we did just launch a brand new free, no-cost ebook on the 5 biggest Medicare mistakes you can make and how to avoid them. So if you check out our Facebook, if you check out our website, you can sign up for that ebook to come out to you, no cost. And I have a feeling that Part D and drug coverage and assessing that is going to be, one of those top 5. So
Absolutely.
we'll be talking through that today.
Yep.
All right. So what is Medicare Part D exactly? D stands for drugs, like prescription drug coverage. There's many different options to consider, as well as aspects of your own situation that are going to make finding the right coverage for your needs kind of like threading a needle. So let's start at the very beginning and break down how prescription drug coverage does work. So first off, Mark, we were talking about this a little bit prior to the show, but if you don't obtain prescription drug coverage with Medicare in a timely fashion when the government thinks that you should, if you don't have what we call credible coverage, right? So some folks, if you're working, that work insurance can be credible if you're over 65, but if you're, one example that can't be, let's say you're in a group that's under 20 employees, that won't be considered credible. You need to take that coverage.
Right.
So, there's no kind of one size fits all. This is a question I get a lot at our seminars.
Right.
I'm working past 65. I'm doing this. This is my scenario. Will I be penalized? So if you don't obtain prescription drug plan with Medicare when they think you should, you'll be assessed what's called a late enrollment penalty, or what we call in the biz LEP. LEP, a late enrollment penalty. And when do penalties go away? Once they are given to you. I always say they stay with you as long as your Medicare stays with you, which is as long as you're staying with us, right? So they're not going away.
They last as long as you last.
Exactly. So again, what does that penalty look like, Mark?
So that penalty is 1% of the national average of what a drug plan would cost. Right now, currently, that's $33 a month, and that would translate into 33 cents for every month you do not have the coverage.
And that's just added to your drug premium?
That's added to the premium, and again, it stays with you for the rest of your life. This is one part of Medicare, one of the parts that I wish I could go and visit the White House and I could tell them how to rewrite it.
Right. And again, it's not super common, I would say, that I see people with these penalties, but I do. And I've seen people with these penalties too when they initiated these laws back in 2006 to have coverage that haven't had it since then, and then they need to go at it. So yeah, okay, if I'm late one month, that's 33 cents, okay, you know, but 33 cents even over the span of your life is going to add up. But it's for every uncovered month. So if you have people going on years of non-coverage, and you add that up, it can cost you a pretty penny, and that's going to be tacked on to your monthly premium every month that you have Medicare for the rest of your days.
I have a great story about that. So a couple years ago during annual enrollment period, I'm out near Harrisburg. We do a lot of work out there, right, with Capital Blue Cross and other carriers. And I'm visiting this lady, Rob. She's 92 years old, I think, at the time. And she had a supplement plan, which means she had to buy a separate prescription drug plan. But her and her husband decided when they got on their Medicare, her husband had passed a few months before. This is the first time she's trying to make these decisions herself. They had decided not to take drug coverage. And now she's paying a lot for her supplement plan. She doesn't have drug coverage. And I said, well, why wouldn't you get drug coverage? And she said, well, I was always taught that if you don't need something, you don't buy it. And good idea, right? So we figured it out because the cost of her supplement plan was just becoming overwhelming for her income, and she wanted to move to an Advantage plan that would have had drug coverage. We figured out, Rob, that her penalty for all those years she didn't have the coverage was going to be over $70 a month.
Every month, as long as she had Medicare.
Every month. Now, technically, the penalty plus what it would have cost her to have that other plan was still going to be cheaper than having her supplement plan at that point. And so we were able to switch her to something and save her money and get her drug coverage. But think about that, $70 more a month because she decided not to get it for all those years.
And, if you don't get it and you don't have prescription drug coverage, you're going to pay full retail costs for any medications prescribed. which this is kind of the idea of the government saying you need to get it or we're going to penalize you.
Right.
Because they want to make sure that you have that drug coverage and that things will be capped, like when we talk about the donut hole, how that flows. Now, what goes into a prescription drug plan, right? Having that coverage. So there's two different types of way to get that prescription drug coverage. Either you purchase, like you were talking about, Mark, a standalone prescription drug plan. This is commonly seen, in conjunction with a Medigap or a Medicare supplement plan.
Right.
And if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, we hear the terms MA, Medicare Advantage, and MAPD, Medicare Advantage Prescription Drug Plan. So it can be wrapped into your Medicare Advantage plan, or it can be a standalone. There are some Medicare Advantage plans that do exist out there, however, with no drug coverage, and that's for other specific scenarios, like folks that have served our country and get benefits from the VA. Mm-hmm. The VA will cover their prescriptions, so they don't need that drug plan. Also, for folks in the state of Pennsylvania that are enrolled in programs such as PACE or PACENet, which help with the cost of drugs and are considered credible coverage. So if you're on that standalone drug plan, more likely than not, you'll probably have a deductible. Mm-hmm. So the deductible is going to be that first upfront amount that you're responsible for before the plan coverage kicks in. Oftentimes, again, we see those on the standalones. Now, they've gone into a trend where maybe the more generic drugs don't apply towards the deductible, but your more expensive ones do. And then the Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans, most often you see those without a deductible. However, throughout the nation, there are some plans that do contain that deductible there.
And that deductible can be pretty high. I mean, the highest they could charge this year is $505.
And that changes every year.
Yeah,
so that number can change, and we can, that's one of those things you need to keep your eye on every year because it's going to change. And you might pay one deductible one year, you go to the pharmacy to pay your deductible next year, and it's gone up, and you're, asking some questions.
Let's go over that list of seminars. And again, I'm going to remind you, MediConnectInsurance.com. Click on the seminars tab. These are free, but you got to reserve your seat, or you can call right now and talk to one of our representatives. Always there on Saturdays from the time the show starts until noon. 888-818-6334. 888-818-6334.
All right. So those seminars coming to a place near you, where we will talk about and break down the prescription drug coverage and the donut hole as well. August 2nd at 6 p.m., Vandergrift Public Library. August 8th, 6 p.m., Holiday Inn Express in Bell Vernon. August 10th at 6 p.m. will be at the Ross Community Center on Municipal Drive in Pittsburgh. And then August 15th will be at the Baldwin Health Center, 6 p.m., Skyline Drive.
All right. Again, that number is 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com. Click on the seminars tab. So the Donut Hole 101 when we come back.
We will be going through the donut hole and a few other tips of the trade, as well as, we talked a little bit about that ebook, but that ebook about the biggest mistakes that you can avoid is now available for you to sign up on our website.
All right, all of that and much more coming up with Mark and, of course, Lauren. This is MediConnect, the Inside Connection. Next hour, True Value Home Improvement Show. Marita Williams hosting AAA Central's Talking Travel, just back from Costa Rica. And then Jessica Festiv's here, the Optulux Wellness Center, Regenerative Cellular Therapy in the noon hour. And then Beth Andrews, Net Worth Financial Advisors, wrapping up our day today. All still to come with your Pratt Pack here on KDKA. Good morning.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Company.
Hey, it's Chris Mack, and you've heard me talk a lot about Awaken 180 weight loss because it works. But let's review why I jumped on board. See, when it came to losing weight, I was focused on eating smarter, not just necessarily eating less, because starvation diets, appetite suppressants, pills, all that stuff, that's just not my jam, to be honest. I wanted the genuine article, something sustainable. Of course, I wanted to trim down, but I wanted more than just that. I wanted to really understand my body. That's where Awaken 180 really delivered. Awaken 180 became my go-to. Not just a program, but a guide to smart eating. It showed me which foods made my body feel its best and how to maintain that healthy feeling post-weight loss. The best part, I was shedding pounds as quickly or even more quickly than the pill route and doing it in a safe, healthy way. The grand finale, free lifelong support. If you're ready to take control, check out awaken180weightloss.com or give them a call at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800.
Meticulous sourcing makes Coons Meat Department widely recognized as Pittsburgh's best.
Coons purchases our top-grade meat products from farms and ranches with high-quality standards.
Coons is the exclusive provider in Pittsburgh for certified Hereford beef.
The Gerber's Amish Farm poultry products in our 8 Coons stores are the highest quality available.
And Coons will elevate your pork meals with a variety of excellent Chairman's Reserve pork cuts.
Combine this with Coons' low prices and experienced meat cutters and see why Coons is simply the best place to shop for meats. This week, find...
With savings you can see on your Coons Reward Card. Meaty, all-natural, bone-in, country-style ribs, only $1.69 per pound. And just heat and eat, fully prepared and delicious ham barbecue, just $3.88 per pound.
Coons provides you with the best cuts of beef, pork, and poultry to put on your dinner table every night.
Shop at one of Coons' 8 locations or shop online at coonsmarket.com for convenient home delivery or curbside pickup.
Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
The weather is hot, and so are the callers.
We're all suffering a lot of political fatigue.
We've lost a little bit of civility.
The detriments and the downfalls of people clinging too much to one party or the other.
Your voice matters
on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Solutions Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA. News now.
It's 71 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9:30. I'm David Ballarado. The first of the month will also be the first day that Tarentum police will begin patrolling Brackenridge. Councils for both communities last night approved the consolidation of the police departments effective Tuesday. By adding the Brackenridge officers, Tarentum's force will now have a total of 13 officers. The federal trial for a man who fatally shot 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue is approaching its conclusion as the defense makes its case that mental illness spurred the United States' deadliest anti-Semitic attack. Lawyers for Robert Bowers are trying to persuade a federal jury to spare his life. A defense psychiatrist who met with Bowers testified Friday that Bowers has schizophrenia and acted out of a delusion that Jews were trying to cause a genocide of white people. A teenager was killed after falling into the Mon River last night. The body of 17-year-old Benjamin Coleman was pulled from the river in Glassport early this morning near Harrison Street. Well, should they change the name now to Mega Billions? CBS News correspondent Dana Jacobson.
Nobody won last night's $940 million jackpot drawing, so the grand prize now climbs to $1.05 billion, $1 billion. Right now, that is tied for the 4th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. It's been more than 3 months since someone matched all 6 numbers and won the Mega Millions jackpot. The next drawing is Tuesday.
In sports, the Bucks and Phillies will play again tonight at PNC Park. First pitch is at 7:05. You can hear the game on 93.7 The Fan. It's cloudy and 71 degrees in Pittsburgh. I'm David Ballarado. Our next update's at 10. And stay up to date minute by minute on our Twitter feed at KDKA Radio.
Folks, you know I love Bath R Us. Check this out. This is amazing. So, the folks at Bath R Us and my friend Chad, their team right now, if you have a free home estimate, they enter you for a chance to win a brand new car. Whoa. 855-592-BATH. 855-592-BATH. 855-592-2284. Bath R Us, free home estimate. Get a chance to win a new car. Come on.
Summer savings are heating up at Bowser Subaru. Right now, Bowser Subaru has 8 2023 Subaru Solterra EVs in stock and ready to drive home. Lease a 2023 Solterra EV Premium, VIN number PA006281 for $459 a month for 36 months with $29.99 due at signing, or get 1.9% for 48 months. Plus, at Bowser Subaru, we put you in the driver's seat with a Bowser Subaru Express store. Choose your new Subaru, value your trade, and so much more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. MSRP $46,220, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year. No security deposit required. Includes $7,500 Subaru lease loyalty. Must qualify with credit approval and financing through SMFL. See Bowser Subaru for complete details. Offer ends July 31st. BowserSubaru.com. Bowser Subaru, Route 51 South on top of the hill.
Your summer fun begins at the Terminal in the Strip District. In the center of the historic Strip District between 16th and 21st Street, you'll find 5 blocks of entertainment, dining, and shopping with an exciting collection of specialty shops and workout studios, Aslan Beer Company, and City Winery. Plus, the Terminal also hosts a robust calendar of weekday and weekend special events. No matter when you visit, you'll find something happening at the Terminal in the Strip. Visit stripdistrictterminal.com for a complete list of events.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A mix of clouds and sunshine today with a nice afternoon. High 79, partly cloudy tonight, low 59. Sunshine tomorrow, high 83. Partly sunny with a thunderstorm Monday, high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Kai Erickson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by MediConnect.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, Mr. Clark, Lauren Yuran is here. We have much more to get to, but remember our representatives are standing by until noon today. If you want to call right now, set up an appointment. There is never a charge for their services. 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334. MediConnectInsurance.com. Okay, who wants to begin? Lauren, go ahead.
All right, I can kick it off here. So, we were talking in the last segment about prescription drug coverage and how that works, with your plan. And there's kind of really 2 options to have that coverage, where it's the standalone prescription drug plan that comes in conjunction typically with the Medigap, but you're paying separately for with a premium, or the one that's kind of rolled into your Medicare Advantage plan. And with those, either route you choose, right? One key factor is making sure that you're checking that plan if there's a preferred pharmacy, because we see a lot of times that costs can really be a huge difference between whatever that company's preferred pharmacy carrier is, and utilizing that can really save you some big bucks. And then whichever route that you're on, right, the plan that you're on, you'll have what's called a formulary, which is a list of your covered drugs. And they're usually in tiers, typically 5 tiers, right? So tier 1 will be your preferred generic. These are going to be your lowest cost, somewhere from a $0 to a $5 copay. And we'll come back to that copay stage in a little bit here. Tier 2 is your non-preferred generic. Tier 3 is your brand name preferred. Tier 4 is your non-preferred brand, and tier 5 is your specialty. So as that tier number goes up, so does the price tag, right? So the higher the tier, the more expensive the cost. And then, we fall into this rhythm of how the drug plans work. And Mark, did you want to talk about those stages of drug plan coverage?
Sure. Yeah, there's 4 stages of drug coverage on Medicare. It doesn't matter, again, if you get that standalone prescription drug plan or if you get your drug coverage through an Advantage plan. It all works the same. It's all Part D coverage. A lot of times people are like, but if I get the Advantage plan with the MAPD, do I also have to get the standalone? And, that's where we help you understand that sometimes it's built into the plan you have. Sometimes you have to buy that separate one. But there's 4 stages to drug coverage on Medicare. There's the annual deductible. There's initial coverage phase. There's the coverage gap, known as the dreaded donut hole. Everybody go dun dun dun, dun, dun right? Dun. And then there's catastrophic coverage. You want me to cover some of how that all works?
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you take it away there?
So the annual deductible, right? So if your plan has a deductible, they're going to expect the first time you go to get your prescriptions, if you're on tiers 3, 4, or 5, usually those 1 and 2s are generics, and they'll let you have those without the deductible. But if you go to pick up your drugs the first time and you are tiers 3, 4, and 5, they're going to make you pay that full deductible up front. And you stay in that stage, obviously, the annual deductible. If you have a deductible, then you stay there till it's paid. Or if you don't have a deductible, then you go right to the initial coverage phase. In initial coverage phase, Lauren, you're going to pay a low copay for the drug that your prescription, right?
And we talked about those tiers, right? So the tier 1, it might be $0 or $5,
right?
But that money cost is going to go up. So tier 2 might be a $10 copay.
Right.
Tier 3, usually, somewhere around that $50 marker. Tier 4, again, you're getting to your non-preferred brands. It's going to be somewhere around $100. And then for specialty drugs, while you're in this stage, it's going to be 33% of the cost of the drug.
Right. Yep. And what's really important to understand here is, okay, so a good example, an idea of the way this works. You're going to have a copay. How do they come up with that copay? It's the plan you're on, the pharmacy you go to. Again, if you want to always go to a preferred pharmacy, and the drug manufacturer, they come up with that copay. So your drug, the prescription you're on, might have a retail cost, let's say, of $200 a month. But in the initial coverage phase, you might only be paying $15 a month for it. That's your copay. Now, you stay in that stage, and these numbers change over the year. Every year they'll change, but this year the threshold for staying in the initial coverage phase is $4,660 of retail cost. Sometimes that's a little hard for people to grasp or understand, and what that means is the prescription drugs that you've used for that calendar year, what would they have cost you if you were paying full price or didn't have any coverage, right? So that $4,660 is based on the retail cost of the drugs you've used so far that year. Once you get past that threshold, then you fall into what's called the donut hole, right? The first time in life that you hate donuts. The coverage gap is what it's really called. And in the coverage gap, you're going to pay 25% of what your drugs cost.
Right. So this is where now I would like to talk about the fact that they did cap insulins in this stage.
Yeah.
So now if you take injectable insulin, diabetic insulin, it's capped at $35. But here was the problem. You know, you were paying maybe a tier 3 copay in that initial stage, you know, let's say $50. You fall into the donut hole. Now you're paying 25% of the cost of the drug. What if you're on multiple medications, multiple insulins? It was to the point where people were paying $250 for insulin. If you're on multiple, you can't afford your insulin. And what I think health insurance companies were noticing is that people that couldn't afford to fill that insulin were then going into diabetic shock, going into the emergency room, and now the insurance companies are footing the bill. Got a little pricey for them, so they have capped that for that one specific type of medication. But there's a lot of other medications that'll put you into the donut hole. And when you fall in, now you're paying, instead of a $50 copay or $100 copay, 25% of the cost of that drug, which can go up. So we're seeing already, you know, if you add that annual deductible, you have the deductible, the initial, the donut hole stage. So it's when you go up to the pharmacy counter, what you're actually being charged is kind of fluctuating, right? It's going up and down, up and down. And that's where it can get really confusing for people, because you go to the pharmacy and every time it's a different amount that you're being assessed, essentially, and it's hard to follow. And then the last stage, you know, explain how you can cap into the catastrophic stage.
Sure. I think it's important to mention also, only about 3 to 5% of people ever reach the donut hole. So it can be a concern. The nice thing about working with us, Lauren, is we can show you what your drug costs are going to be through the year. If you're going to hit the donut hole, we'll tell you what month you're going to hit the donut hole. We'll also tell you what your drugs are going to cost you at a preferred pharmacy when you do hit the donut hole.
And we also might know some tips to the trade of how to prevent you from going in. Not always.
Right.
Not always. You know, there's some drugs that we really just don't have a route around.
Yeah. And then catastrophic coverage. Catastrophic coverage, you fall into that final category once you get past $7,400 of out-of-pocket expense. Now, that's a little bit of a misnomer, right?
Right.
Because you're only paying 25% of the cost of your drugs in the donut hole.
And to get in, it's the retail value that gets you in.
Correct.
To get out, it's what you've spent out of your own out-of-pocket.
Right.
And remember, in those first 2 stages, you had a lower copay assessed. So you might fall into the donut hole and you've only had a few $100s out of pocket. You have to work yourself all the way up to that $7,000 number there to get yourself into catastrophic coverage. And in catastrophic, you're going to pay no more than 5% of the cost of the drug.
Exactly.
All right, listen, I want to talk about something that you guys have formed so many great partnerships. This whole, because it fascinates me, this Blueberry Pharmacy. Talk to me about that a little bit, Lauren.
Yeah, so Blueberry Pharmacy, who is a proud partner of MediConnect Insurance, they kind of operate the same way. A lot of people are familiar with Mark Cuban's Cost Saver, right? And it's an online tool. But this is a brick and mortar pharmacy, and we have worked and sent some of our clients there where they're going directly to some of the manufacturers and kind of being able to offer these drugs at a much lower cost. Again, is every drug going to be there? No, but we've seen a lot of people have a huge amount of savings. People that would have fallen into the donut hole, they're able to get a generic form of that medication at a very low cost, and you're able to go there, fill it for a monthly subscription.
So, in other words, it's eliminating the middleman, but Mark Cuban basically will get it to your house. You have to go to the brick and mortar.
Well, they actually will mail it to you as well. They'll mail it actually even into Ohio and West Virginia, as well as Western Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania.
All right. Listen, just some of these other things we talk about all the time. GoodRx, Pace, PaceNet, these names. Explain a little bit because there are always somebody hearing them for the first time.
So Pace and PaceNet is actually through the state of Pennsylvania. And if you've ever gone to play the lottery, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners have, including myself, right? You see a little sign there that says helping seniors citizens, right? And that is where Pace and PaceNet are funded. They're funded by the lottery. So I always joke that if you played and played and played and never won, now you finally win, right? So for a married couple, for example, Rob, if you're making under $41,500 a year, you are going to qualify for Pace or PaceNet. And what this does is it caps your medication spend at the most $15 per medication.
Nice.
So again, somebody that's subject to fall into the donut hole, and a lot of people are financially eligible for this. It doesn't look at assets like the state Medicaid assistance programs do and like extra help or low income subsidy from the federal government. It's going to literally just be based off income. So you can have assets, you can have savings and still qualify for this program, and it can make a huge difference. One of my best friends, her grandmother is on it. They have, she has a couple properties, a couple investments, but the way that they have everything within a trust, she still qualifies, and she's on some seizure medications that can get rather pricey, and we save her a lot of money every year.
And it's easy to apply.
Very easy?
Yeah. You go online, Pennsylvania Pace. There's an online application right on their landing page. Takes about 10 minutes to fill it out. They're going to send you a letter in a couple weeks that says you either got it or you didn't get it.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Mark Clark is here, of course, along with Lauren Yuran, the Inside Connection, MediConnectInsurance.com representative standing by until noon. Set up that appointment, absolutely no charge on your point. It is 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334. Back with more in a moment. Good morning.
It's unpredictable. It's funny, real, and honest. The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards and Marty Griffin. Listen Monday, 5:30 till 10 on 100.1 FM and AM 1020.
Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory, a Pittsburgh tradition for over 60 years, has you covered with blinds, draperies, shutters, and upholstery. Lachina has all the major brands. Here's a July deal from Lachina that you won't want to miss. Get a free cordless lift upgrade on selected Graber shades. Call 412-665-4900 for an in-home shopping appointment or shop in-store or online. Accept no substitutes. For the best selection and prices, there's only one Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey, we're back on MediConnect, the Inside Connection, 888-818-6334. Bridging the Healthcare Gap, MediConnect. Before we kind of recap Medicare Part D and some other things on today's show, let's do the seminars. And you know who's going to do the seminars? Mark, you're going to do the seminars. And again, I'm going to remind everyone, they are free, but you got to reserve your space. And how do you do it? You call 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334, or go to MediConnectInsurance.com. Click on the seminars tab, and there is where you can register. And again, they are free, but you have to register. Mark.
Okay, Rob. August 2nd, these are all at 6 p.m. Vandergrift Public Library in Vandergrift. We've got August 8th at the Holiday Inn Express in Bell Vernon. We've got August 10th at the Ross Community Center, Municipal Drive there in Ross Township. We're going to August 15th. We'll be at the Baldwin Health Center in Skyline Drive. We're going to be coming to Canonsburg sometime soon again, as Rob said. We've got live advisors at 888-818-6334. You can go to MediConnectInsurance.com, click on the seminars tab, and register right now.
Wonderful. So we talked a lot today about the donut hole, and we talked about Pace and PaceNet, GoodRx, the Blueberry Pharmacy, There's also programs available from the manufacturers and, again, those independent pharmacies like Blueberry. So I think, the key thing is if you feel like you're overspending on those medications, give us a call. We'll take a look. We'll see, kind of the tricks to our trade there and see if we can save you some money on those medications, because there's a lot of different routes that you can take. And I feel that a lot of people don't know all of those are out there.
Sure. And we've got lots of resources, right? I always kind of chuckle. I see that commercial on TV. The lady says, "Why are you cutting up your pills?" Right? And then some lawyer comes on, and that's great. But I always say they should be calling us, right? Because if you're having trouble paying for your medicines, right? If you're on Medicare and having trouble paying for medications, you should be calling MediConnect.
And it can even be something as simple as the plan that you're on and the coverage that you're getting, too. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with folks and looking at one plan option from another is a $2,500 a year savings in medication costs.
In my estimation, drug costs is really the most important part of your Medicare. I mean, you could have, I always joke, these plans are going to promise they're going to come wax your car every month or send you on a cruise to the Bahamas, right? And the truth is all that extra stuff is just fluff. How does it cover your medications? Are your doctors in the network? Those are the really important things.
Absolutely. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about that ebook that we have up on our website now.
Yep. Right on the website, we've got a brand new ebook, The 5 Biggest Medicare Mistakes You Can Make and How to Avoid Them. It's important. It's really important to take good advice, get good advice. Your neighbor might think he knows what he's talking about, but I hope you'll trust us a little more, right? A lot more.
A lot more, absolutely. So check out our website, get signed up for that. Again, no cost to you ever for our services or for that ebook. Give us a call if you do have questions about your drugs today. We have advisors standing by till noon, 888-818-6334. Next week, we're going to continue this educational series as well, our journey to annual enrollment period by way of education. And Mr.
That's
Lance,
almost here, by the way.
I'm going to blink and it's going to be here. And I always joked, now we know a little bit, for me, I come from the carrier side and some of my history, but we started preparing pretty much in like May. So I've kind of taken that same route with our agents, and we have them back in the office. We're going to be reaching out to some of our members, letting them know to be on the lookout for that ANOC, that annual notice of change that comes out in September, and just making sure everybody, is happy and healthy in their plan.
It's getting close when the people at MediConnect start pitching a tent inside the offices because, they're not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It'll be here before we know it. It'll be October. I always say my birthday's in October as well as Brian's, right? I'm the 12th and he's the 15th. So we're right in that start of annual enrollment period, too. So I feel like I haven't had a birthday in about 13 or 14 years.
But, and I've only been with you all for years from this side of it, but I got to tell you, it is exciting because you do help so many people. And maybe because I'm so plugged into it now, but I can tell you throughout my life, and a lot of it has to do with being 66, I'm sure, but Medicare and this company comes up more times than not throughout the week, a handful of times, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Somebody has a Medicare question or it comes up in the conversation. Absolutely. And it always gets back to MediConnect.
Healthcare is a big part of our life, right? And the older you get, the more important it is. It's an important thing.
And Medicare and medical assistance and a lot of things that we talk about here are government regulated too, so they can be a little bit complex. They can be a little bit confused. I think that's the biggest thing to that. But in that annual enrollment period coming as well, I think we have to have some passion for it and some drive because you're out there. It's long hours. We're road warriors. And, Mark, you were up talking to the agents. I think it was yesterday, and you're like, I love it. But you kind of have to love that crazy time. You have to be a little crazy, I guess, to love that time.
The lottery does benefit senior citizens, and I believe that. But Medicare is one of the greatest gifts that we have. And
absolutely.
As many health situations that I've been in lately, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, you got Medicare, you're good. So you got to get the right plan, though. That's why you need to set up this appointment. Annual enrollment is coming up. You're going to be 65. You currently are 65. Call. You can do it today. Again, no charge for their services. 888-818-6334. 888-818-6334.
Thanks, Rob. And again, we talked today a lot about prescription drug coverage, a lot about the donut hole. If you are overspending, we have plans change ability right now. We have 5-star plans out there. Or if you call in and we find out that you qualify for one of these programs, PACE or PACENet, they can actually make you eligible for a special enrollment period, which means we can change plans to something that might be more comprehensive coverage for you and your scenario, whether it be the drug costs or sometimes that drug, maybe there isn't something we can do with it, but we can manipulate and look at other plan coverage options to save you money throughout the year.
All right, so we got about 3 minutes left. What do you want to do here? It's all yours.
All right. So, Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have going on from MediConnect, like our Facebook and...
Absolutely. The Facebook page, it's Facebook at MediConnect. PGH. Sorry about that. If you connect with our Facebook page,
Mark, if that's the worst thing you do on this show, that's nothing.
I got you.
You're good, brother. You're good.
If you like our Facebook page, you actually could get a little hint earlier in the week, about the trivia question, and maybe that'll mean you win that $15 gas card. It's really exciting this time of year, getting ready for annual enrollment period. I also think, Lauren, if we mention quickly. When we're talking about drug coverage, you just simply want to remember that the stage you're in will determine what you're paying for your drugs. If there's a deductible, it's really important you're going to have to pay that deductible, and that cycle starts January 1st all over again. We've got some exciting events, seminars coming up. August 2nd at 6 p.m., Vandergrift Public Library. August 8th, the Holiday Inn Express in Bell Vernon. August 10th at the Ross Community Center. And then August 15th, Baldwin Health Center on Skyline Drive. Don't forget, we're going to be coming to Canonsburg very, very soon.
All right. So, Mark, I know you're planning to go to that Foreigner concert tonight,
right? So
we're
going to be rocking out.
You're going to have to send me a video of them singing Cold as Ice, please.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that, yeah.
Rob, any exciting plans for you this weekend?
No, sleep.
I know you said you were working late.
A little late last night, taking care of some friends and doing something for another friend. And your significant other, Jeff, happens to be, so he'll appreciate this. You've got Earl Spence Jr. tonight and Mr. Terrence Bud Crawford fighting for the undisputed welterweight championship. So big boxing match tonight, right, Jeff? Yeah, it's huge. So that's why I was with a friend last night promoting it, and it is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view, but hopefully I'll be sleeping by the time they get into the ring, and then I'll wake up. But my friend and others are picking Earl Spence. He is not the favorite in the fight, so maybe there'll be an upset tonight, but it's going to be a great fight. All right, let's remind everyone where you're located at in this great city. So in case they're planning on coming to your offices, it's a short drive from just about anywhere here in the tri-state. And if you are within the Pittsburgh metro, you're just minutes away, right?
Right. And Rob, I know that you recently were able to just stop by and visit, but we've been revamping a lot of things, some new meeting rooms, really just trying to make that customer experience excited for our clients when they come in to visit. So we are located on 300 Billmore Drive over off 79 Crafton, Kennedy Township exit.
Beautiful. Listen, and I'm not just saying this, not that I didn't expect it to be nice, but Brian really did get out the checkbook. This place is, it's state of the art. It's beautiful. It's comfortable, relaxed environment. And you will definitely feel at home when you go visit these folks.
I think so. And I've actually had some people, either radio fans stop by that are having an appointment with us, or, folks that have seen some of our seminars. And I was actually in my office the one day and I just heard somebody screaming my name. Yeah, they're Lauren. And I'm like, I'm thinking it's you or Sean or somebody. Like, I was like, what did I do wrong? And here's this client comes around. I was like, oh, hello. But, we love to have our fans in. We love to have our friends in. We love to have our clients in and help you any way that we can, make it comfortable, because again, Medicare can be stressful, can be confusing. So, just coming in and maybe taking that load off a little bit, having a water, and hanging out with us. Coffee.
Yeah, and they'll serve you real donuts and coffee if you go there. No donut hole. Listen, both of you, thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
All right, stay with us. We have a lot to get to before this day is done. And I want to remind you that you can call them right now to set up that free appointment. It's so simple to do, and they're there until noon. It's 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334. And remember, MediConnectInsurance.com. Let's run those seminars one more time. We have about 30 seconds left.
All right, so come out to those seminars. Again, Mark or I might be hosting, so you might get to meet us in the flesh. August 2nd, Vandergrift Public Library. All these will be at 6 p.m. in Vandergrift. August 8th, 6 p.m., the Holiday Inn Express in Bell Vernon. August 10th, Ross Community Center on Municipal Drive.